What's up? Welcome to our World FPM. It is Monday. This is Shai, and this is, welcome to our World FPM. This is week 7. The topic is job/school. So, first I'm going to lay the line of, do I have a job and am I in school? I haven't had a job in over a year. Thank you for the shitty economy of the U.S. I appreciate it so much, so much, yeah. So, yeah, I haven't had a job in over a year. So talking about being trans and a job won't happen just yet. Hopefully soon. Fingers crossed I'll find something. But school is where I'm going to go into. I'm going to start off of, I will be going to college in a matter of weeks. In some places called university, but in the U.S. we call it lovely thing called college. Universities tend to be the more expensive ones, you know. The only ones I ever hear call university is like Yale and whatnot. So it's kind of similar to the way it is in Canada, I'm pretty sure. But to the subject matter. And I was in college about a year ago for a few months or so. So I'm going to talk about me being out and how I felt about then, and then I'm going to talk about eventually when I do go to college, how I'm going to be going about doing it and why. And if I have a little time, I'm going to talk about how socially, like when I go out shopping, you know, when people do not know who I am, how do I go about doing that? How do I go about transition-wise, or whatever you want to call it? Because I don't think I made a subject about that, and if I did, well, you guys will hear from me again. So, when I was in college, a little over a year ago, I wasn't out as being transgender. That's kind of when I first was finding myself. I was out to a few people, so that pretty much is very simple to it. I was very careful about who I told because I was scared that, oh wait, maybe... Because my school is known that there was an LGBTQA community, but there wasn't really, I never really knew anybody who's T. If there was anybody who's transgender, they obviously weren't out about it, and I had no clue. So, in college, that's the simplest amount to say about that. Now, coming up for college, I'm obviously on testosterone. I'm going to be on testosterone for almost 3 months now. I look like a guy. I dress like a guy. I sound like a guy. So, am I going to out myself? Am I going to say I'm a trans guy? You know, what's all up with that? Well, here's a little bit of a background behind for you. I did not legally change my name or my gender. I'm going to soon change my gender marker on my documents. I'm going to find out about that this coming up Friday, because I have, well, not this Friday, but I'm working on doing that. So, this will kind of go and explain to you why I'm going to go about doing what I'm doing. My legal name is still my biological name, my girl, quote-unquote, name. So in college, what I'm going to go about doing it is, I'm hoping to change. I don't know how long it takes for gender marker change, and I'm pretty sure it takes a while, same thing with name change. So when I start college, I'm going to be like to professors, I don't really like being called she. I prefer, you know, male pronouns. They don't like it, they can suck it. They don't need to, you know, they don't have to, you know, if they're going to call me she, I'm going to keep on saying, I'm a he. And you know how before, in the U.S., I don't know how it is in anywhere else besides the U.S. Most colleges, the professors say, if you like to be called by a different name, when I call your name, please tell me or come to me before. So what I'm planning to do is, at the beginning of each of the classes, like the first class, I'm going to go up to the professor and say, hey, I prefer to be called by male pronouns. I know down legally is my gender is female, but I consider myself male, and I also prefer to go by Shai. Now, if the guy or the girl professor does not respect it, they don't have to. They want to discriminate me, let them discriminate me. At least they know what's going on, and at least I put it out there, so I have every right to say, hey, I told you can you please respect that? They're not allowed to discriminate anyways, even though most, not most, but a decent amount of professors will discriminate. When I do change my legal name, it will be Shai, not Shai. But yeah, that's the matter to that. So, that's what I'm dealing with teachers with that. I'm going to be dealing with the Learning Disabilities Office as well. I already met with some people from the Learning Disabilities Office. What I plan to do is when I kind of like, okay, you're officially registered with the Learning Disabilities Office, I'm going to tell them then to see if they can do that. I knew, like, I more in college, kind of like with a lot of other places, legal name matters more so documents and everything. It doesn't matter about how you call a person because, you know, so that's the matter to that. Now, with people, if in class it happens to happen that they call me female and they call me by my biological name, insert here, if you know it, awesome. If you don't, well, it's not awesome. You get the gist of it. Then I will deal with that with myself. I'll be like, hey, well, I'm trans. I was originally born a woman, blah, blah. I mean, I'm open about it. It's kind of hard when you become stealth, but I think in college, when you don't change your gender marker, when you don't change your name, it's kind of hard to be stealth, opposed to, you know, I could just go get a burger and I could be stealth, which I'll get into in a few minutes. So, I probably won't be stealth in this college, but I'm kind of going to take everything where everything one step at a time. This coming up semester, what I plan to do with people, like I said, is, if it comes out that they mention my biological name, my biological gender, I'm not going to college so they could call me by the wrong gender or wrong name. I'm going to college so I can get an education, so I can pass, so I can be me. So, if someone, I will only come out to some of my closest friends. Like, I'll be like, hey, guess what? I'm trans. Well, not right away, but I'm saying, I will explain to them. I'm pretty much upfront with people with me being transgender. That's just personally me, how I am. I'm like, because personally for me, it makes me me. So that's basically how I go about going it. If a teacher slips, I'm going to pretty much explain them the situation. If the teacher doesn't split, and I eventually get a close relationship with a person, like friendship-wise, I'm like, I become their friends, and be like, guess what, I'm trans. Because how I go about, my friends will not be my friend if they think I'm a biological guy. Just the reality. So that's the matter to school and stuff, and I know I rambled and kind of repeated myself, and I apologize about that. I really wish I could talk about any experience about coming out or knowing anything about jobs, but I really don't. But once I get to that, I can tell you guys. Advice on it, I would say, do what you feel is right in college. I don't know where people are at in their transition. Obviously, everybody's different, but do what you feel is right. If you feel that you should be called by, let's say you've never been on testosterone or anything, and you just prefer to be called by a male name, male pronouns, but you don't have anything changed, and you haven't taken anything, and you haven't gotten any surgeries, go for it. It's not going to hurt if you just say, hey, I prefer to be called by male pronouns or anything. But do what's right in your comfort zone. Don't let people push you towards something you don't want, don't, like, for example, with me, with my name change, I'm not letting people push me to change my name now because they think it's the right time. Alright? So there's that. Now, going out in public, to the store, to buying food, to McDonald's, to wherever you go. How I go about, I think we're going to have a subject on stealth or non-stealth, like I said, but how I go about coming out to people or not. Like I said, I don't come out. If I'm going to go out in the store and buy something, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, look, I'm a girl. I dress like a guy, I sound like a guy, I act like a guy. At least I hope I act like a guy. And, yeah, pretty much ever since I've started tea, there's been no problems. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Yes, I said here's where it gets tricky. I'll actually get it for you. Hold on. My lovely state ID, which I will show you at the end of the video, has female on it. That will out me that I'm not a guy. Now, one thing I have noticed in New York City / New York, where I live, they don't really look at gender. They more so look at, okay, is this person legal? Does it look like that person? Not necessarily name. But some places do ask name and everything. But I'm not going to let you guys see my legal name. I'm going to try to do my best to hide that. Yeah, you guys aren't going to see where I live. I'm not going to allow you to. You're not going to stalk me. And I'm not going to let you see my date of birth either. So, because I smoke. Yes, I smoke cigarettes. I don't buy alcohol, because in the U.S. you have to be, the legal age of drinking is 21, so drinking alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, but if I ever happen to, you know, it will out me as well. Do I care? No. For most trans guys, it's like, oh my god, grr. So, yeah. That's pretty much the end of that. I will show you my, not date of birth, but my lovely sex on my, no, I don't like sex. And this has been a long video. I don't know if you could see it. It's right there. Female. There you go. And now you know I have brown eyes. So, since this has been an 11-minute video on Welcome to World FTM, I will see you guys next week on week 8. I'm not sure what the subject is, but I will see you.